It's a little frosty out there too. The road.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks for everybody for coming. And this is our first meeting of 2025. Lots to do, so thank you for everybody showing up. And we'll just go around and do introductions. I'm Jennifer Letts. I'm the chair of EPAC.
David Green, vice chair.
Diane Flowers, newest member of BPAC.
All right.
I got my official letter.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah.
Not much, not BPAC.
The official, you know.
Chris Blake, Cindy of Streets and Operations.
Bob Nash, BPAC member.
Dave Roth, BPAC.
Wendy Holzman, BPAC.
Chris Chang, NODOT.
Tanya Saltzman, County.
Like
it's been the morning.
And then
And on Zoom.
Brian Potwin, Commute Options. Nice to see everyone.
still really weird. He's the only one. That's odd.
Oh, you're the only one there on Zoom apparently.
I
so-
kicked everybody off.
We
Hi,
paid for
Wendy.
the one attendee Zoom package. All right, do we have any public comments? I guess that would be Brian, otherwise,
Yeah,
I
we have a quorum. Yeah, cool.
think so.
Yeah, do we?
7.
Are we sure? Brian? Well,
7.
7 should be plenty, shouldn't it?
Yeah, 7.
Just,
Yeah, 7
all right,
is more than half of
13, yeah, okay.
It's a new year. We have to go back to basics here.
Okay.
You gotta figure out how to divide 11 by 2.
All right, anybody would like to offer up a motion to approve the prior minutes from December?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Always thank you to Tanya for putting those together.
Welcome.
Well done. All right, committee business. At-large position update. Welcome to Diane Flowers. Thank you. Thank you for going through the process multiple times.
It's okay.
But
Good.
it's good. We knew you wanted to be here and then you knew we wanted you, so it all worked out. In that vein, I did get a message from Sabrina yesterday that she said that she has decided to bow out of her participation with BPAC. She's just too busy with other things going on in her life right now and didn't feel like she could give it the attention that it needs. So we have another open position.
And
I forgot, is she?
She is.
where was she? What was her?
City or?
She's at large.
She's at large.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we get to do that again. Unfortunately, when Diane applied, she was the only person who applied, so it's not like we have a resumes laying around or anything. So if anybody knows anyone who would be a good addition, start sniffing around and asking around and we'll just start this process anew.
Yeah, I'll get HR to post something
Okay,
imminently.
okay.
We don't really have an HR department right now
Oh.
because everyone's left, but so.
Oh.
I'll do my best.
Okay,
Jennifer, can I interrupt for one quick second?
yeah,
I would just like to say today is the official day for commemoration of Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
And I just, a good man and a good humanitarian, and my thanks to him.
yes, thank you for reminding us of that. Totally agree with that, so, I mean, it's hard to say that we lost a great man because he was 100. I mean, like, we got him an extra 20 years, I think, so it was nice.
Did what he wanted to do and he
Yeah.
got to die before our current president was.
So,
Good timing.
that, let's put the Sabrina note in here.
Okay, so you have a seat to fill.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the business things we wanted to do was set the meeting calendar for 2025. Which is, our dates are usually pretty good, except for I think this month. I'll double check if there's any weird dates in here that fall on holidays or anything, but it's really more about the location of the meetings. Chris graciously helps us reserve this room when we're here. And so he'll need, he needs to know as soon as possible when he needs to be reserving this space. And then obviously anybody hosting anywhere else needs to know, reserve spaces and get those things organized. So, we're talking a little bit with Bob about a Redmond meeting because it's been a while since we've been up there. And so the feedback on that was not February, maybe March.
Yeah, we didn't meet in December and we met this Monday and I had kind of looked at my notes from our last meeting or two. And so anyway, it looks like either February or March, they'd like to come to Redmond. And the reply from our city liaison was, well, we would really prefer it be March, which then Jennifer and I communicated and I'm not sure exactly where we sit with that, but anyway, that was, and I apologize for not bringing it up earlier.
Oh, that's fine. Because it does lead to a question, and I can't remember how we did this in the past, because our summit is going to be in April and later in the month, do we want to have a meeting that first week still, or do we want to just call the summit our meeting? I mean, they're kind of two different animals, so.
We generally still meet even when we do summits on our regular time, maybe some last minute things.
It might be a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, but
Clean things a little bit.
What the.
That would
10th
be
is, what,
April
Tuesday?
3rd.
The Thursday.
Thursday.
It's the second Thursday though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be two meetings, 2 weeks in a row, so. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel that being 1 week out would give us that time to hopefully do the last minute organizing and put bows on stuff, so. Hey, Mark. All right, so we'll keep that one, and then,
When do you want to do sisters?
it's a good question, because we like to do sisters usually, and now that we have our Lapine rep, we did Lapine, this fall. And I think that was certainly worth the effort. I know it's kind of a long drive for most people, but I would like to put that back into rotation as well. So maybe it could be a Lapine and or Sun River meeting. Has Sun River hosted? I mean, besides the summit, has Sun River ever hosted a meeting?
A couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, especially when we didn't really have anyone in La Pine, we often just
Okay.
did Sun River, but I
Okay,
think in the past, even so, we would sort of see where it made the most sense.
okay,
And kind of go back and forth with it.
And we're definitely have meeting space capable, so.
okay. So we'll, definitely a South County meeting, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Edmund and then Sisters, Amber Summit.
Thinking a few months ahead. The first Thursday in July is July 3rd.
Right.
A lot of people may be gone. Do we want to move that?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it could go either way on that because it's summer, right? Kind of coming and going, so, yeah, I mean, if people think that makes sense, that's fine with me. I could stick with it on the 3rd.
Yeah, it is summer and, for a while, BPEC didn't meet in the summer for a good part of the time, and we finally decided to add that back in. But you always know the attendance is going to be a little
Yeah,
iffy those couple of months, but
okay.
I just thought the day before the 4th, it might be really bad.
Yeah. He wants to make a 4-day weekend.
I think moving it to the 10th is a good idea.
I do too.
Okay,
July 10.
yeah, you guys have an opinion on that? Are you good with it, or?
It's here.
Okay. Always here.
I know it's hard now because there's a lot of moving parts to it, but we did tend to have a set time for where we met in Sisters, where we met. And I think if we could get back to that, it would be helpful so that just for organizational purposes. But I know there's been a lot of change and a lot of
Yeah.
things going on, but just not this year maybe, but maybe think about that for we should have, go back. And then it helps the person they're hosting in their area to be like, oh, yes, I need to be mindful about that.
Yeah.
You mean the 12 to 1:30 time slot?
No,
The-
like Sisters is
the
usually in
location.
October or.
Oh, I got you, like the month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Location.
Redmond Spring, Sister Summer.
Yeah, we generally had a sort of a theme like that.
Got it. That makes sense.
Maybe Lapine would be better when it's not snowy. I mean, I don't know.
And is your summer very busy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would not be maybe the best time, summer for
Yeah.
county
no,
meeting.
That would be it's pretty slammed and meeting space is pretty premium with that. also.
That makes
True, okay.
When did we go to Lapine this year? Was it October?
October, I think.
Yeah, and the weather was great in October. We saw
That was fine,
Maybe.
yeah. That first week, we could do that again, and that, it could either be Lapine or Sun River,
In October.
yeah. Gonna pencil in Redmond for March.
That seems like the typical time we used to do it.
Yeah, and then Sisters can be, I think. Did we do May last year? Yeah, I could,
Yeah, May we were in Sister.
Yeah, maybe, that's what I call. It's probably best to not do that during the summer months. So it's best to get those probably in.
Yeah.
Rest, the other parts of the year.
May or June for Sisters, I think would be.
First week of June, school's not out yet.
Possible conflict on that day. Yeah, anybody have a preference, May or June for Sisters?
Fine. Okay.
Because, April will have 2 Bend meetings, and then we wouldn't have anything till October. May or June, or anybody have a preference between the two? May?
Yeah.
Okay. Like May? Remember, that's still one of the 8 winter months, so. Sounds all nice and fun, but,
This is true.
all right, well, I'll put that in. And then I think the bulk of those will be Bend. Which right now I have January, February, April, June, August, September, December. And November. Whoops, I forgot one.
And July.
July. Oh, I don't remember. And July.
I'm gonna
Good.
push it out though to the week after the 10th.
Yeah.
10th. Once you get it all straightened out, Jennifer, just let us know.
Yeah.
Whatever you figure out. so.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna read my notes. That's the problem. And remember the months of the year. That's the other challenge. Okay. I've got it all scribbled here, so. Obviously, we can be flexible if Redmond can't host us in March, that other months, so, but that would be great.
As of right now, that's what they're expecting. So
Okay,
it's on the schedule.
okay, and that'd be a city hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That would be fantastic, because I know you guys have been working on some stuff, so happy to go see what's going on up there and. Okay. Thank you, got that done. And then we're gonna change it to July 10th. So yeah, need to get that out. I feel like sooner I can get that message out to the greater public, the better, considering we have one participant. When we usually have like a lot more, and I feel like it was that change in the week, but yeah, also I know this is a really busy week for people. All right, well, let's head on to the juicy stuff with the Bike Ped Summit planning. And Dave had been doing some work on this and he passed out. Everybody got their,
Yeah, so Bob and Matt, I
Agenda?
got, late last week and took the initial notes that you've all seen and put together a very tentative agenda. First of all, we can't absolutely reserve the location until January 10th. So is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll be on the phone with Park and Rec. We're penciled in, but tomorrow we'll know for sure. We thought that we would have Mayor Keebler welcome the group and then have ask our new OTC Commissioner Cheng to talk about the state of regional transportation as a keynote.
That's a great idea. That. And he's actually one of the people who's actually come to a summit before.
Yes.
He went to the one in Redmond and I don't think a single other county commissioner has ever, that I recall, come or stayed for very much of it.
Sun River.
Yeah,
he
he did
did.
Sun River and he came to so I think that's a great idea.
I think Tony came to a couple also.
Yeah,
And we'll make sure we get invitations to all.
of course.
Yeah. Then we're gonna try 3 little icebreakers during all of them just before breaks so that they can bleed into the break, but ask people. Matt, you want to talk about that?
Is it like give everybody a flat tire and like have them fix it as a?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody knows how to put shape.
So the idea I
You can come up with?
brought forward to Bob and Dave this last week was the idea of a human library, which we've been doing some with Envision Bend, but it's an opportunity for people to connect with those sitting next to them. And you just propose a prompt essentially. You can get more specific if you want like direct knowledge of like, share a bike maintenance tip that you know that you don't think others know, but I was thinking more general of like, what's a transportation issue you face on a day-to-day basis? Or why did you come today? And it's a chance to spend 2 or 3 minutes with someone next to you, get to know them, kind of break the ice with those around you. I was warning though that when you open that container, it can, it's hard to close it. So doing it before a break or something where it's like, spend 2 minutes talking to your person and then go get lunch is a better than like trying to corral the cat. So just.
So maybe find somebody that you don't want to sit next to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we've got those scattered through the day.
Cool idea.
Idea.
And then after the first break, we're going to try to find an engineering or design company to talk about what complete streets are and how they've been installed in other cities and other parts of the country. And the 2 proposals we've got right now are Tool Design, which is a nationwide firm with a big office in Portland that does bike and ped specific infrastructure all over the country. And then if they can't come or it costs too much or whatever happens, locally, Kittleson Engineering does a lot of that same work. And I think DOWL in town also, yeah. So we've got some options if our out of area person group falls through.
I think also, doesn't Mason Lacy work for an engineering firm that does bike, because I know they did the Drake Park bike pedestrian park. He might have some insights as well.
Great.
As someone that he's worked with or that might be interested.
Yeah, they built that Alpenglow Park.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea.
And if we need one more, we have Century West and members of Century West, who's the manager for this region. He used to come to these meetings quite a bit.
Okay,
Tom.
I'll get a hold of
Tom
you.
Headley, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
What was
great.
his name?
Tom Headley.
Oh, yes, I do remember him. Yes. He did
Do a lot
come
of these.
a lot. Yeah. Okay, so we have some,
So we've got a lot of options there. That's great. Then just before lunch, we're going to try another panel discussion. So we've had panel discussions the last 2 summits, and I think they've been well received. We have 3 ideas which we'd like some feedback on: housing and transportation, the interactions between housing and transportation, disabilities and bike ped infrastructure, or, didn't do this right. Okay, so the regional transportation is taken care of with, well, no, that's true. Sorry, I'm thinking about. So we could also have a panel of county folks, similar to the city panel we had a couple of years ago. And the fourth thing we had on the list was a schools and transportation panel. So anybody have any thoughts about which of those would be most interesting to the group?
Wendy, if I'm not mistaken, the last time we had it at the park rec, didn't Chris put together a panel? And I think it was somebody from each county. And they just kind of did a round table type panel thing about what they were doing in their areas about bike pads. So I vaguely remember there was something, a panel he got together that kind of did that. And that might not be a bad thing, because that's been what, 4 years ago,
Yeah.
something like that.
I think we had talked about how can we as an organization be more helpful to Cook and Jefferson County and some of the other regions. So I think focusing on that is actually a good idea, my input.
Okay, yeah, so that's option 3, I think.
That makes sure we have to have people though from those areas. to-
Yeah,
if we-
we've got to
yeah.
find those.
Yeah, and then, like, what can we do to help you move your projects forward, or, ask some of those types of questions.
Okay.
Or, problems they're running into, or
Yeah,
things they've been doing, or.
Mhm.
we want to make BPAC seem more relevant, I think, for them. So just to see, since we are supposed to represent them as well theoretically.
Yeah, it fits with the plan we have to sort of start reaching out to those surrounding areas
Yeah.
as well. Anybody have a different preference? That would work really well.
That's good. It seems like the school, I'd be interested to learn a little bit more about that. Because of the transportation planning, how does that work around the schools? How does it work for the bike pads? There's grant funding someplace available for some of those, but we hear very little from the schools about that particular needs. So it might be of interest.
Okay,
I wonder if we have several icebreakers and I like the idea of a couple, but I wonder if we are looking for a slot to put some school conversation and maybe we could use one of those icebreakers.
well, the ice
Probably
is
5 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, I was thinking they were 15. Sorry, you're right. That's not gonna give me much time.
But I think we do have, all the time slots are like 45 minutes, right? So we can probably shoehorn in another topic if we really want to look at school, or we can replace one of these sessions with schools.
Yeah, it looks like between people, streets and icebreaker, that's a 45-minute. Anyway, just
Yeah.
some.
Okay,
I like the regional group. I think that's important that there's some sort of regional discussion at some point, but that's if we can find.
Right, if we can get.
Right. We need to,
They have
So
to
we
fill that in.
backup
There might be-
plan.
throw that up to
yeah.
the school, yeah.
I tried to do some research on that. I realize there's a group in Crook County that's more, what are they called? They're kind of more of health focused. The bike ped is
Mhm.
part of it. And I know that I went through the,
Cook County on the move.
right, yeah, and I went through the records and they did
They did
to
some.
the Redmond Summit, I remember
Yes.
seeing them. So I could kind of reach back out to them again. I know the community development director for City of Madras, so I emailed him, but I haven't heard back from him yet. Just trying to get any connection Jefferson County. So, I know there was a lot of talk about some projects there a couple of years ago, which I think have floundered. And so, it's even worth hearing about floundering projects, right? If there's ways we can get people together and maybe help or at least learn from those lessons, that's useful too.
And at that Redmond Summit, we also had someone from Warm Springs, and I
Yes.
think, did Kim Curley help us make that connection?
I still have his
Oh,
contact
okay.
information, so I can, he was planning to come last year as well. but he didn't make it, so.
Yeah, so if he's interested in coming to be part of perhaps this.
Mhm.
panel.
Right. Yeah, we'd have the 3 counties and Warm Springs on the panel probably, so.
Yeah.
I think if we could pull that off, it would help maybe get them together.
Okay,
I mean, they're all good topics. It just
Yeah,
don't
Yeah.
have so many hours. That's the unfortunate part.
My vote would be for the regional aspects of it.
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
And should we pick a number 2 just in case we can't make that happen?
Interested in the school part myself, but
That would be my vote too.
okay.
That's it.
We'll have that as schools as a fallback then. And then the last topic is People Streets. The city of Bend is doing a study on what people streets are. They got a grant from the state to support the new climate friendly and equitable community rules. And they're using the area between Juniper Park and Drake Park that goes over the Hawthorne overpass as a case study. So, and by April, they should have that study completed. So, and it'll fit really well with the Complete Streets. It'll be sort of an extension of that Complete Streets topic. Brian, did you have something?
I sure did. Thanks for recognizing me. Just on the school aspect of the conversation, not only does commute options work in the schools with safe routes to school, and we'd be happy to participate if we're invited, but also an FYI to this committee that Ben Lapine School District was awarded an ODOT transportation safety grant to work on safe routes to schools, and they're currently hiring for that position internally within the transportation department. So once they have that person installed, that would be a great person to contact and to find out more information about all the questions you all were just going over.
Great.
yeah, that's great, Brian, thanks.
So as a 3-month out agenda, anybody have suggestions about things we need to pursue or do differently on this?
And then the infrastructure tour,
The infrastructure tour is a long ways from anything we've talked about visiting this year. That was the one drawback to this location.
Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of trails in that location.
Yes.
Not the ones we wanted to highlight, but I mean, there's still something to go look at.
Also, Miller's Landing is redone, which is maybe a mile from the building, but I know Henry's brought that up before, but it's more so for like water access than necessarily like transportation. That's the one project I can think of kind of in that.
If we get down to Miller's Landing, we can sure look at that Riverfront Street, which is the,
Yeah,
I was just thinking.
okay, I'll talk to Henry about that.
I know the city did a survey recently on that Riverfront Street, yeah, which maybe was brought up before, but
Yeah,
yeah, it ties in the People Street aspect and all that.
So the Hall Trail repaving, not too far from there.
Hmm.
Might be worth highlighting or seeing if they're interested. The repaving, restriping, some permeable pavement. We could do a display on like the equipment too, if there was a space for it, on like what we use to maintain the bike lanes, like the mini sweepers and
oh,
big sweepers, striping
Really?
trucks, walk behind stripers. We could show them what the hot tape is and how it goes down and all the equipment.
What about the new signage you talked about?
It won't be in by then, but we could bring samples down for sure.
okay, that's
Cool.
a great
We
idea.
would just need a place to park the stuff, but I can put an employee at each piece of equipment and they could walk through everybody and you can touch it and seats. and see how
drive
big
it.
it is.
Sweep it off.
certified.
To work.
Choice at this point for that location.
I mean, just as one thing, but I mean, what would be nice is that BPAC really supported our mini sweepers. So, and we could do a little poster board for that and kind of put that out there that to show the other cities and counties that, you know, be part of, you know, the change, you know, get involved. So yeah.
Great.
Is that could, I mean, it depends on your, obviously your schedule, but that could also be something set up beforehand. If people get there early or if they want to look at it over the lunch hour.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
I can change my, it's far enough in advance. I can change my cruise schedule if the, you know, if the weather is decent.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get everything there in the morning and get it all set up and they can walk out and look at it and then towards the end of the day, like around 2 o'clock or whatever, then we could have a person at each piece of equipment, multiple, so they can explain each little device and this is why we have data tracking. This here will adjust the truck while we're moving. This, you know, this sweeper here has cruise control. So, yeah.
Is it adaptive?
Yeah, it is. It's from Germany.
Hmm.
Speaks 2 languages. So, but yeah, we could, if you've got the space for it, we could put on quite the display for you.
There's space there, I think. So.
Okay, just verify.
Henry and.
Sure.
Firm, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Great, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, when you're making your reservation tomorrow, yeah, just maybe if we could like block off a couple parking spaces or something that.
I mean, our paint truck's like 45 feet long, so it might be something, because it's down at the parks headquarters, right?
Yeah.
It might be something maybe across the street in that open lot
Right.
through the brewery that we can set it up over there, and then they could just walk across through that wonderful pedestrian crosswalk.
Mm.
I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Put safety guards out there so everyone can
Yeah.
cross.
All right.
David, I had one other thought on the agenda, which could bring up later, but I thought I'd just say it now in case there's other thoughts. Just with Mr. Chang talking about regional transportation, which I think is really state, because he's going to be kind of our key linkage to state and understanding where state level funding is, along with regional. But what if we switched the 10 o'clock and the 10:47 panel? So to go from state region to then a regional panel,
Yeah.
and then have the complete streets be the one, and then the people streets. Does that make sense? Just switching the order of 1 and 2 of the.
Yeah, so you start with the region and then move to the state, kind of, or county and state.
Or start at the state and then funnel to a regional panel of transportation efforts.
Oh, I see.
And then go to the complete.
Right, so you're starting to funnel it down.
Just a thought, but
So move to the complete streets to the 10:45 slot. And the panel or right after Mr. Chang.
Right.
just an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries at all.
Nice flow.
And with the commissioner and the mayor, right, or it might all depend on their schedule as well. So but it's the question you have to ask yourself is that, do we want those particular people and we can fit them into the schedule somewhere else if we have to, or is there an alternate so we can stick to the schedule? That's just
Well,
something.
the welcome to Ben, we probably want that first. So if the mayor can't do that at that time, then we may have to find someplace.
I'm sure she can find somebody,
Yeah.
the city manager or another counselor.
Yeah, pro tem or somebody.
So,
Yeah.
so I got this straight in my head. We're gonna move the panel that's now at 10:47 to what time?
10 o'clock. So that brings up an interesting question.
I was
Last,
thinking about people, if we get them coming from Crook and Jefferson County, they may not be able to be there at the start of this. They got a little bit of a, all to get there.
Sure.
I'm thinking it might be better to
move them late, move
have them,
Chang later.
you know, whatever, just don't get them too early because they might say, I can't get there at that time frame.
So along that same line, last year, one of our postmortem points was, we lost a lot of audience after lunch. And so we talked about putting something that drew people in after lunch. I wonder if the regional panel might not keep people there, move People Streets to in the morning and put the regional panel in the afternoon.
In other words, put the city maybe at 10:47 and the regional panel at
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
I don't know, I think a little bit of it is the nature of the beast. It's a long day and people can't necessarily all get away for that length of time. So right around the lunchtime, in some ways, is good to, if you want to keep more people there who can hear, they might not be, can't wait around till after lunch, because then that makes a really long day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a crapshoot, right? You're just trying to
Yeah.
figure out what might be the best and.
Yeah. Okay,
But that is a good point. Yeah, what's the sexiest thing we can have in the afternoon to keep everybody around?
Besides you up there presenting.
I just do, I have 5 minutes in the front.
okay. All right, well, we will,
We'll think about that.
Yeah.
we'll keep all that in mind
Some of that maybe is that when you finally get a hold of people.
when the speakers.
Yeah, when they
Those
can actually-
people,
Yeah.
first thing may be, okay, can you come and what time can you come?
Yeah.
That may
Yeah. completely.
influence
For sure.
what the final schedule is.
Yep, good.
We've had good luck with front loading
Yeah,
people that may not stick around. So like if you did the panel earlier, the advantage is they might show up, but they might not want to stay for the whole thing. They don't feel obligated to.
and they also want to know, hear what Commissioner Chang has to say,
Right?
so putting them together gets there.
I
Right,
don't know. It's,
but maybe not,
it's a really good layout as it is, and a lot of thoughts. So.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we will, yeah, good discussion about that. So on the back page, we have 4 topics that we didn't include. So we've got fallbacks for everything. And what we could use immediate help on, if anybody can help. Does anybody have any art skills and would be willing to put together a save the date flyer? I mean, I can put together a flyer that.
Andrew, a
works.
graphic designer,
Yes, yes.
yes,
Yeah.
not to like volunteer him.
Who's a graphic designer?
Smelly or?
I don't know,
Yes.
Anthony.
Anthony, sorry, I just.
Who?
Anthony
The guy
is
from
the graphic
LaPlante.
designer, remembers that.
This is for something else.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay.
He did. We're
He's our
looking at
guy.
the awards.
He's on tap then.
Okay, yeah. Congratulations, Anthony.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
This is what happens when you don't show up.
Is he also the keynote speaker?
No, Bob's, oh my God, I make sure I attend every meeting, otherwise they're gonna give me all these things.
And then the other thing is that I'm gonna be starting to scour the websites for these. But if anybody has personal contacts with any of the people that are, or any of the organizations that are on this list, if you could let me know who those people are, I will make sure that the flyer and the introduction goes to them as well as to their general office.
If you want to build a spreadsheet in our shared folder,
Okay,
then we can go in and, there's a few of these people I know I can go in and just fill it in. So you're not getting 17 emails, but
okay,
You give me, if you send the flyer to me, then I can send it to a bunch of the engineers at City of Bend too.
okay.
Get it downtown.
Gosh, I don't know anybody.
It's
What a loser. Chris Chang, I know Chris Chang.
Bend, Oregon, all spelled out, .gov.
Okay, I should.
Mayor's sisters had all kinds of.
I was never a mayor, I was only a counselor.
Yeah, all kind, it's all gone.
All right, I'll send a link.
Oh, now we're
Spreadsheet.
the way.
Yeah.
IT is making. us
Yeah, that'd be
think.
good.
Exactly. That's why I keep my emails down.
Yeah. Missed
Nobody-
one letter.
I didn't include in here, I have good contacts already, so.
Okay.
Hit the dot.
Yeah, I mean,
Invite.
definitely send,
City of Bend.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we had.
Cool.
Any questions?
Great.
That's great.
you-
Oh, very good.
and then as we get closer, we'll obviously need
Yeah.
probably people, a setup team, a breakdown team, and then the food.
Yep, that's on our planning list.
Okay,
It's not urgent yet.
Okay.
And Brian, thanks for your offer last month, and I'll be in touch with you for some funding.
You're welcome. Still stands.
Very good.
thank you. Well, thank you very much, Dave and Matt and everybody else that helped out with that. It's a fantastic start. I mean, a lot of work to do, but yeah, this sounds really good. So everybody start thinking good weather thoughts for April 10th. Let's see, we'll move on to our working group updates. Probably not a ton of updates, I'm gonna guess, because we just came out of the holiday season, but outreach, Jennifer and Matt, I mean, we haven't talked. But I did mention last time at the last meeting, you had gotten a bunch of those email addresses. And do you want to speak to that mixer event that you went to? Bike
Yeah.
Industry?
Yeah, it was really good. So it was a lot of folks that either own bike shops in town or some of the Trail Alliance folks. And it was just really, it was fun, you know, people were connecting and sharing their love of cycling. And it gave me a really easy platform to say, we're BPAC, this is what we do. I brought a sign up sheet. We're looking for more public engagement and for folks to know who we are and that we can be a resource, you know, and help convey issues at the county level or different municipalities. And people thought that was really great. And I got a number of signups. So yeah, I think have a template for the sign up sheet. So maybe it's just some like a seed of people are going to an event with some enthusiasts, you know, to bring a sheet with you. And I think I brought 2 sheets and one has like 25 slots. They almost, you know, got like 30 or 35 signups. So that was good. And then I moved everything over to the Google Drive, which I saw was in the notes, but has everyone who needs access to that gotten access?
I have. I don't know if anybody else has kicked the tires on that, but it's working out pretty well.
Okay, I guess I don't want to be the only one with the keys on that one. So
Yeah.
make sure other people have.
My IT department has not looked at it for me.
Okay.
The only thing I can see is the summit planning stuff. Is there more stuff in there than that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Okay.
A lot of, so,
I moved the whole, basically from Dropbox, I just downloaded the whole thing and then put it in the Google Drive. So it should be all the
So pieces, everything.
in file. And to do that, I created a new Gmail account, which I don't know if we have approval for, but I can ask for forgiveness when I need to, but just as a way for us to, yeah, as a resource, but that's also what we needed to set up the drive.
and for me, when I had to access it, I had to use that Google email account that you created to access it, because my computer was getting very confused of who I was and like the different Google accounts I have and stuff like that. And so I may not have gone about that the right way, but yeah, I was just wondering if anybody else had that issue or had tried to access it in yet, or
It's been a while since I did, but when you first sent it out, I did, but I will double check that I also
Okay.
didn't do the same thing.
okay.
Oh, so has somebody given all of our individual accounts access to that Google Drive?
I haven't. I sent it to you two as the chair and co-chair, and then Tanya as well. But I can add others as we need. I figured that would be enough. And I guess what I did is I gave you the password and login info for the email, which the drive's attached to. But I can add, if you have an email you'd like for me to add, or you use with Google Suite, I can just add a Gmail or another email directly to the drive.
Like inviting them to the.
I can invite them to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I feel like, yeah, everybody probably should be invited.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything that,
Yeah, the same way everyone had access to the.
yeah, I don't
Okay.
Yeah.
think you guys can go in and delete mailing lists or anything like that, or,
I'll go in and then I'll copy all the committee emails and just add everyone to that Google Drive.
okay,
Great.
thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, because I think it's gonna come in handy for the summit planning, so.
Yes, absolutely.
Matt, I'm also thinking that from that list of names that you got, if you could see if anyone might be actually interested in becoming a member of BPAC?
That's a good idea.
Hmm.
It's a part of the bigger strategy we've been talking about with outreach of just some way, communication channel to communicate that stuff out.
In case anyone's really excited or interested, if they
Yeah.
want to.
Totally.
But that, those could be added to the list of all the emails and people that we send to now to invite them to BPAC meetings.
Correct.
But I don't know if that, how big a list that is, but at one point we had way more participation in BPAC meetings before pandemic hit, but
I think there's like 170 names on the email list.
Yeah.
You know, I know some of them are duds. I was trying to clean out a couple of them. You know, just a few that I knew of, but yeah, but I mean, I know we talked, you know, it's on my to-do list. We talked at the last meeting, right? We used to have law enforcement
Mhm.
said presence or input. And I mean, there was one person on there I recognize in law enforcement and I was hoping to get a meeting soon with the new sheriff as well. So, you know, can talk to him or one of the lieutenants or something about if there's somebody at the sheriff's department that they could dedicate to participating here.
I believe they have a communication officer. And that would probably be the. and the connect.
Yeah. I gotta make sure that their boss, you know, approves it kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Bosses. I know Clint Burley is on our email list and I think he works for Ben Police, but
The officer that we had was a Ben police officer.
Okay.
I don't remember his name,
I don't know.
but yeah, he was here
regularly.
multiple meetings. I mean, he was, and input, we could ask him questions and it was really kind of nice.
Okay, because I thought since he was on our email list, I might just start with him and send him a note and, you know, and just ask him if that was him or if he knew of anybody at the department.
They just did a big push and hired quite a few community service officers.
Okay.
So that would be a great tool to access if
Yeah.
they're available, considering it's only an hour and a half.
That would be the right people, I think.
Yeah.
I overstated. So there was like 35 people at the event. I got 14 signatures, but I did add them to the big running list of the distribution list. So
That's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's only half of what you said, though.
I know it's really oversold that one. It's a few months ago.
Gosh. Gonna have to go back out there.
Yeah,
The theater.
I owe you.
But,
If we get too many people.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
I missed that meeting. Our son flew in from Boston that afternoon and life was just not happening for me to make it to this, so. But I got to see my son.
yeah, otherwise outreach, I feel like I did something and I can't remember what it was, so I'll move on and I'll remember it. Community connections, Dave, G, Matt and Mark. Anything?
Nothing other than that paper that you all reviewed, the meeting that I missed. So what we probably need to do is compare that to the calendar that we're working on and make sure we get the people that we talked about talking to at the meetings scheduled through the year. That makes sense. Does that make sense?
Once we get the calendar hammered out, then we can start selecting folks to come to the different meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, special
Yeah,
guests gonna,
Additional organizations that we wanted to invite to at least one meeting a year to talk.
okay. Dave G again, transit. And Mason's not here. And yeah, any more progress on the awards to be finalized, but
Yeah, I have not heard from I need to reach out to the guy in La Pine, Anthony,
Yeah,
and just talk with him about what we had kind of drawn up, so. And I'll do that by next meeting.
And then we settled on that to be a fall award.
It was opposite of the other commissioner meeting,
Okay.
just kind of to be in front of the county commissioners twice a year.
And are we, do you remember what months those are off the top of your head?
I remembered last month.
Okay.
I think it was May.
Yeah, May sounds
look it
right,
up.
but
Here, I can look that up.
because that is something, even though it's only January, we need to start thinking about what we're going to
So,
present. I mean, that would make sense if it was after the summit, so we could report out on that.
right, and Sabrina was our secretary, right?
Yes.
So we need a new secretary.
Yeah, possibly. I know we were discussing whether we really needed that position or not.
Right.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, I'm sorry. Both, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it just, I think we were kind of leaning towards maybe not, especially since, Tanya does the actual secretarial
Right.
work and yeah, I mean, we can certainly entertain that conversation again. We feel like we need.
I missed it, I guess, and that's fine with me. I don't
The,
think
the annual report to the county commissioners is
Yeah,
the primary
that's
thing we
the
should
main
do.
thing.
Wondering too, if Tanya, the notes are, it's not a small thing to do, so just from your perspective, is it something that a committee member could help a lot with, or is that something
Putting
that,
together a report.
or putting together the minutes?
I mean, it's up to. Takes a little bit of time, but like, it could go either way. It is
Yeah.
what you, yeah. I mean, I know that the annual report it used to be this big, long thing that was sort of a compendium of all the minutes. And then I think last year, Dave tightened it up. And that was easier to execute. So I don't know if it needs a dedicated person.
It's really, I think an annual report to the county is a highlight
Yeah,
of what's occurred during the year. It's certainly not.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
Right,
Yeah.
The
I'm
minutes.
trying to get into my
It
circle.
was just, yeah.
If we gave them that, they'd put us out of business real quick, probably.
okay. Right, external committee reports.
No co-act.
Yeah, no coac. And I'll tell you, Dave, that we did our council rejuggling of our committee assignments, so I'm gonna be the coact representative. But yeah, two of us, I think, is better than one.
And because there may be times that I can't,
Yeah,
you can't
Okay.
go.
yeah,
We'll just have to coordinate when the next meeting is both of us going to be there or just
Mhm.
one or.
yeah. And it's, I mean, yeah, I think it's great if two of us are
They
there.
really only have, besides the safety committee, which is a subcommittee, they only have, I think, 4 meetings a year anyway. So it's.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 6, something like that. And I did discuss it with Scott Aycock at COIC, because they're kind of convening that meeting, and he said that, obviously COACT has had this kind of history when they had money and decision-making authority, and then that got taken away, and then there was kind of the, I'm sure you've been privy of this, well, it's a nice meeting and informative, but we don't really have much of a say, and that's frustrating, and he feels like he understands that, and everybody understands that, and it's kind of an upswing of being more of a influential organization again. That was his vision for the future. So I have high hopes that it can be more useful of our time and our presence there. So.
Yeah, when I represented Sisters, when I was on council, Dave Thompson was was our person. So there was the two of us were there.
Okay.
It kind of had slightly different, you're focused more on city, we're focused more on other things, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to have more
Yeah.
active transit voices in a room.
Yeah.
always.
All right, Neil's not here.
Yeah, MPO TAC has met twice since our last meeting.
Okay,
Yesterday was a very short meeting. They are gearing up to do the essentially the City of Bend Transportation Safety Action Plan. So that's going to be their big emphasis for the year. They funded about $3 million worth of projects in the area that are being completed. Last month, Bob Townsend, the new CET director, came and talked to MPO, and they've received a lot of funding for capital improvements of their buses particularly, and they're just about up to full speed on their drivers. So they're feeling really good about where they are, sort of catching up after the pandemic, and now they're talking about expanding.
Oh, that's great.
So that was really good to hear.
are you the alternate on that?
I'm the alternate.
Okay, all right. I should probably put your name on here. Thank you for that. And obviously, I think he was one of the people we thought about maybe coming to talk to us. Was he on that list or am I getting my meetings mixed up?
CET is certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then any updates, Mark, from the Lava Butte Trail, Pine Trail?
Nothing from that. You heard anything? Nothing, no.
Still moving forward through the processes. I think ODOT just responded to, I think, the last thing there.
The never-ending lawsuit.
Yeah, well, from,
That one small little.
yeah. So it's moving very slowly.
Yeah.
ODOT pace, or really the court pace.
Yeah. I did, I was at the Cocoa, Central Oregon Cities, Counties meeting last month. And the Pine City manager, I talked to him a little bit and also did a little short presentation of what's going on in La Pine, and he did mention the importance of multimodal and increasing that system. So, which just on the surface of him even just making that mention, I thought was really positive. So there seems to be momentum there, and I talked with him a little bit offline, and he definitely seemed that was something that people were wanting, and they were, hoping to improve. So that's half the battle, is getting people just to even want it. So thought that was positive. I am, in regards to that co-op meeting, I think I reported on it last time, but there was a woman from COIC who had money to do safety outreach, kind of PSA, something like that. And she's having a couple meetings. I participated in one, and I have one also coming up. So this is a project that started at COIC and she's inherited. So a little bit of a catching up, but it was kind of a high level meeting last time, and this time coming up, I'm going to try to, if I have, the chance to see if we can try to get some of that, public service announcement or wherever direction she wants to go, maybe something focusing on pedestrian safety or bicycle safety, something like that. I'll kind of make that pitch. She did in the meeting, it was and this was a question for everybody. Matt had sent me a few weeks ago, a report on, bicycle scorecard for different states and communities, stuff like that. And then in this meeting, she had referenced, I think, a national highway transportation safety report that had come out about a year ago, and about safety messaging. But it had different chapters, and there was a chapter on bike ped and what works, what doesn't work. And I thought that was really interesting. And so when I get things like that, I was like, would you, I don't feel like I need to blast that to all 170 people on our email list, but is that something that when I get stuff like that forward to the group?
I'd be interested.
Yeah, okay,
Committee
Okay.
members,
I
yeah.
didn't want to over stare. So, great. I will do that. Or if, anybody else is welcome to do that as well. Share with, I think just with our core group is definitely reasonable if you come on to something. Please do.
The big issue is just not replying all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotten both hands and feet slapped on that one before.
Yeah.
If you will. So Jennifer, would you remind me, CIC, Central Oregon Intergovernmental Council?
Yes.
And is that does that ultimately report to the state, or who does COIC? Is it just their own little entity, or do they have outside? I don't remember.
But they get, their funding comes from a lot from the Tri-County area for the most part.
Okay.
Cities in that area. I mean, they are kind of, they can funnel federal and state dollars. Especially at any projects that are regional in nature, that kind of cross jurisdictional boundaries, and obviously they operate CET bus service.
Right.
Which I think is 80% of their budget.
Is that the one Tammy's since?
Yeah, Sammy Bain
Yeah,
is the
she's there now.
director. I mean, they do everything. It's just mind blowing. Everything from education to business development, transportation to, they're kind of the lead on organizing the core three, the regional emergency training center that they want to build in Redmond. So they just kind of take on anything that's like that. So, so that's why they kind of convene COACT, for instance.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting because they have so many, and I think that COIC got some federal funding for some homeless issues. I mean, they get a lot of federal dollars coming in, and so I guess that's more what it kind of is in a way, is a place to funnel some of that.
Yeah. And manage those things that don't belong to one entity in Central Oregon. So, and a lot of regions have something like that, like a council governments or things like that. So, okay. So, updates from different communities. There's not too many of us in here. Oh,
So the ODOT project on Revere over here, had a PAC, I think it's Participant Advisory Committee, and I'm the BPAC rep on it.
okay.
So the state is leading it, the city is part of it. It's gonna go from 4th Street across 3rd Street all the way to Wall. So it covers the 2 entrance ramps to the parkway and crosses the railroad, and it has the stoplight at the railroad. So the 2 biggest things that they're talking about are coordinating the railroad arms with the stoplight to remove some of the congestion when the train goes through. They're also planning to finish the sidewalks through that whole corridor and a safe pedestrian and bike crossing of the railroad. And the group was pretty adamant that they also needed to think about traffic calming in the area. They were unaware of the speeds of traffic through that corridor as people go on and off the parkway. So that's pretty much what we've talked about so far.
Great.
So it'd be an actual physical, but you're going across railroad tracks? Or is it?
Revere crosses the railroad track.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're not planning on an overpass. That's way beyond the budget.
Beyond the budget.
Yeah.
You'd have to go over the parkway.
You'd have to go over the park. Yeah.
They
So
got
you'd start on the
Yeah.
west side of the Chutes River.
Yeah.
You'd end up on about
Similar
14th.
base to the
Yeah.
St. Louis Arch, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for that. That is all those little pieces and bend that don't match up, and the missing sidewalks, and
Yeah.
everybody loves riding a bike over train tracks. So any improvements there would be great.
Fortunately, I don't remember who owns the trackage, but here a few years ago, they put new pieces, whatever you want to call it, where the tracks are. And they made it a whole lot nicer for bikes to go across.
Yeah, that rubber stuff.
That rubber stuff makes life so much nicer.
Yep, that's
You
slippery.
don't, jar half your fillings out when you go across.
Yeah. Good, yeah. Working with the railroads is. I've said, yeah.
In their mind, they were there first.
Yes. You don't let you forget that. Thank you for that. Yeah, so updates. We're missing, most of our entities here. I know Derek Hoffbauer said that he did have a conflict, so couldn't attend today, but he said he'd be here next month. I can speak to sisters. We've got, I haven't had a chance to, flesh out some of this stuff. However, I know that the long planned, bike path from our Village Green Park down to the trailhead on the south side, they've at least posted, public hearing, posted that route. And so we've been trying for years to get, grant funding, and that hasn't, to my knowledge, worked. So like I said, holidays and all this kind of stuff, I need to get caught up, but I think that's gonna come out of our own pocket. However, it's a priority, so we're gonna make it happen, whether we can leverage other dollars or not. So, and it wasn't surprisingly as expensive as I thought it would be, because it does include a bridge. We have to
Separate bridge.
have a bridge over White Shoes Creek. But we have lots of right of way, and I think there will be one property owner that will not, I think, is not happy about it, but I kind of see it like they got free land for, 40 years, so pay taxes on. So he's gonna take that over and put it the path, and so I'll try to update you guys on specifics of that when that's gonna go in. And then we are,
Friends and sisters who are so excited about it. I have a friend who said, the last knitting is sisters. When did they got it sprung through? I'm like, oh, yeah. So they're convinced it's happening. So
yeah, and it's heavily used by bikers and pedestrians.
it is.
It's a very dangerous pain point right there.
Yeah.
Over the bridge, there's no,
With the traffic, and you gotta go with the bridge, and as a pedestrian, you took your life in your hands sometimes.
yeah.
It's great. I'm so happy that they finally got that.
Yeah, so I'll be excited when that's finished. And yeah, we're gonna start the phase 1 of the Barkley Street improvements in February. Which is part of that process of getting that whole roundabout infrastructure smoothed out. And that does include sidewalks and bike paths and as well. That will be all along that whole thing when it's finished, because there is a stretch of that it's a very kind of a hodgepodge, and there's a stretch that has no sidewalk at all, which is frustrating. I walked it a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I scooted along very quickly in that section to not get hit, because I think it was a snowy day too. So yeah, those are kind of the big ones and sisters. Sun River. I was there last weekend. I did a staycation.
Okay.
So, I mean, had a good time, and I mean, you guys are clearing those
30
paths.
miles of pathway every time it's.
It rains and snows and rains and sleets and rains.
Yes. I always have them cleared within about 8 hours, 6 hours. of the
Amazing.
But the community has really decided that we're going to have another safety or pathway task force within Sun River. This happens I've been there 15 years, and it seems like it's on a 4-year cycle.
Okay. I think because I picked up the little Sun River paper and.
So they're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we asked for volunteers to be on this group along with some board members, and we were inundated with responses.
Wow.
And from people from all over the world that have property there and they want to be part of it. And so we actually have gonna meet tomorrow with the board to kind of do a selection of folks. And so it's gonna be very interesting, and it's always, all you guys serve on board, so you know that we're used to them, so that everybody will come with an agenda item of something of their own. And so it'll be tough to figure this out, but I'm just kind of waiting and watching on this one. Because they're pretty sure that our pathways in Sun River are extremely unsafe at the moment.
Oh, they are.
That's the perception.
I was just gonna say that's a perception, yeah.
Like ped conflicts mostly, just.
User group conflicts on pathways.
That's why nobody uses the path.
That's why.
There's nobody,
Completely, and
right,
the
and so
funny
empty.
part, I'm just digressing a bit here, but then we asked the police for all the accident data that we have within Sun River. And the number one thing, of course, is e-bikes, right? And we cannot find one incident in the last 3 years with an e-bike. That's the driving thing behind this.
I had one, I was feeling it, that might be.
And also, yeah, just what,
You've never lived until you've been on that path and been run over by a hoverboard.
had that happen.
Add it to my bucket list.
Ooh,
Yeah,
But yeah,
they're very,
yeah, you can't hear.
for the maybe gravel they go over. Guy didn't say a word, came up behind me and took me out.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Did you file an accident report on it?
He was gone so fast.
Okay.
Wow.
So
It would have
Quietly.
been my word against ain't
nobody's.
nobody. My wife, though, is kind of feisty. She did get him in the back of the head with a good sized rock.
Wow. So we have violence in Sun River.
Oh, okay.
We got conflict.
More,
There's
if you realize.
My wife is 4'9", but she's pretty feisty.
Yeah.
So
Hey, why the police chief's leaving? It just got too dicey down there, I think.
couldn't handle it anymore. You had to go someplace safer. So anyway, it's an interesting group, but really in Sun River, our number one our issues are the same as they are everywhere else, except for probably the odd one thrown in is we have a lot of people that come there and they'll rent bikes, or they'll pull the bike out of the garage. And these are people that may be in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they haven't ridden a bike in the last 20+ years. And then they jump on a bike, and then anything that comes by them, not to say your case is not
Oh, yeah.
legitimate, but if you haven't been on a bike in a long time and you have some kid swinging by you with a dog off leash, and then another bike coming this way, an electric bike, it's like everything you can
Oh, yeah.
imagine. And then you throw the tunnels, and they like to stop and talk right at the beginning of the tunnels.
The number of people that you guys get down there in the summer, my wife still owns a rental house down there. We've been down there in the summer, and then a number of people that you get there, your bike paths need to be about 20 feet wide to accommodate all of the people.
Right, they need to be as wide as roads are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually one thing that I'm asking for from this group. Does anybody have, because I'm gonna be presenting, obviously, does anybody have design standards that might be out there for pathways? Do you have any?
ODOT does.
Could I get some of that information? That would be wonderful. And then I'll probably work with City of Bend to get their design standards. I'm gonna look somebody from Redmond. I don't know.
The new path that went from Sun River to Lava Butte, that's wider. I don't know.
No, it's 10 feet also.
Is it same feet? Okay. Maybe it just gets fewer people, so it
Yeah.
doesn't look so bad.
Wider open, you might say, so you don't,
Doesn't
and
feel
doesn't
that-
have near,
yeah.
but
Not a-
no, our paths are all 10 feet wide, tunnels are 12 feet wide, and then we have a foot shoulder everywhere. But, and Sun River is 100% built out, or 98% built out. There's a few vacant lots but Caldera is having a pretty big expansion that's happening over in Caldera. And needless to say, those people, of course, will be accessing the path
Sure.
in Sun River. So I think that that's where our biggest growth and challenge is gonna happen, but that's gonna be my life for probably the next 4 months. So we'll figure that out. But anything, if I could get that, that would be wonderful.
Now, is Caldera building a lot of bike paths in their system or not?
They're building paths that are open to golf carts, bikes, everything else in there this week.
Okay.
So now you get run over by a golf cart.
Sun River, they're separate.
Yeah.
The bike paths are separate from the cart paths.
There's only one main road. There's a rule in Oregon that if there's a bike path within so many feet of a road, then people are required to be on a bike path.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of sections in Sun River Meadow area and then circles.
But what I'm talking about is in the golf courses, the paths, the cart paths there are separate from,
We don't own those. Those are.
no, I understand, but they are separate from
Correctly.
the
Yep.
Sun River bike and pedestrian
Yeah.
paths. They cross,
Yeah.
but they don't intermingle.
Center has 15%, if not less, full-time owners. So even though we're a fake city, that's what I always call it.
Oh, I know, yeah, I know.
And because, but we'll go from like really maybe 500 residents up to maybe 15,000.
Yeah.
According to how the seasons. Anyway.
Wow.
Any information that you guys might have on that, and I'm gonna probably be tapping Redmond a bit on. We haven't done a lot of surveys during peak times to get data, and so probably be working on that. That's what I got.
Good luck.
Thank
When I was
you.
at the Forest Service, that's when they were building out the path between Sun River
Sun Lava.
and yeah, the Sun Lava path. And that was, the fight that wasn't my job, but I was wiggling my way into because the Forest Service being, we make trails, it's, the narrower the better, right? You don't want resource damage. And I was like, no, you don't, because they're like, we want an 8-foot or a 6-foot path. And we're like, no, you want a 10-foot wide path, like.
That's exactly, yeah.
And that was there was a few of us that pushed that and thankfully we're successful on that and it's been heavily used and people aren't running into each other, so.
No one is riding from Lava Butte to steal big screen.
No,
TVs from
I-
Sun River.
That's so weird.
Really, it's pretty
Yeah.
sad, so yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good day. Well, thank you. And then there's that whole, last time you talked about the South Century Drive and there might be a,
So yeah, that is a
Roundabout.
county project.
yeah,
And they're looking at putting in 3 roundabouts in that general area, and right there, there is the business park. And then there's also where if you're coming from Caldera, where it comes on to the road that goes to Mount Bachelor, so they're putting in a roundabout there. And then they're putting in possibly 2 roundabouts that are gonna be by the business park. And really, almost all of it is strongly focused on vehicular traffic and very little on bike ped. And so we're kind of leaning hard on them for the bike ped aspects. County's not super willing to, or not interested at this point in time, and understand the cost and maintenance and all that of putting in any grade separated crossings, so. But we're working with them.
Are those gonna be single lane roundabouts?
They're in design phase right now. And so, yes, I think all of them are gonna be single lane. It's just the question is, I don't know if you're familiar with that Sun River area where they have the business park. It's really weird how it goes in and out.
Yeah.
And so trying to think about maybe a dog bone or something. And I've seen the 3, I was part of the selection process for that, the engineering groups, but we're in that process now. And then they'll have public meetings coming up. So, yeah.
well, obviously, as you know, we're here to advocate or something if we need it. I mean, it's a little,
We'll probably get to that point, and also
but
I'm not real big into spending money outside of Sun River on another project, but it's something that I've worked with the board on that we might be able to help out with some aspects of that if it betters the community inside. So
So is there a requirement that the county spends money on bike and pedestrian things like the city and the state are required? Does anybody know?
Sure.
not that I'm aware of. It was never part of the
Was
selection criteria.
Yes, there is. I mean, the bike bill is state law, but it's just, it has to be brought up to their standards, and as a rural road, their standard isn't to have sidewalk and all the other things, so it is up to.
The bikeway. Yeah.
Correct. Just depends on what the city standard is, or the county standard is,
Just, yeah.
shared roadway.
yeah, but it is quasi urban, I mean, because you have a big neighborhood next to an industrial park and a school. I mean, the school you think would
You have the
sway some of this, trigger something,
you
yeah.
have the school,
Food truck lot.
library, and
That's
the
what it is.
post office.
Tons of that's food.
I like the
Yeah.
food truck lot.
Yeah,
Good choices.
Anyway, it'll be a fun one, and I'll let you guys know if we could get some help on that, because
Okay.
probably could on that when it gets to the county aspect of.
yeah, that seems like that's a really fantastic opportunity to get it right the first time.
Yes.
That's the pro, you know,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yes.
Way easier. Do you have anything from Deschutes County that you want to share?
The only thing is more of a technical thing that I'm very excited about. I figured out, this is so dumb, but I figured out how to post our agendas on our meetings portal page.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, it took a lot more work than it looks like, but now, so you can find all of your Board of County Commissioners and Planning Commission and BPAC meetings up
Oh,
there.
good.
Just the agenda, since we don't have like a packet. I don't know if we're gonna put the minutes up there. It doesn't, the tricky part is all the other meetings have a live link to video, because we have like a YouTube like live streaming thing rather than just Zoom, and so it's a little kind of just shoved in there, but it's there, so people can find BPAC information on the county meetings portal.
Oh, okay.
Very small victory, but I was very
Yeah.
pleased with myself for figuring it out.
Now, do you,
And I'm not gonna allow you to say degrading things about yourself. You did
I do.
a great, I know, but you
Yeah.
can't anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on that too. So I'm gonna call you honest on that. Don't do it anymore.
New Year's resolution.
or do you think it would be, I'm just asking, I have no
Yeah.
opinion on this. Do you think it would be when I send out the agenda every month? Do you think the greater 160 people would prefer me to send out, these attachments? Or do you think it would be easier to send, okay, and here's a link to the county page and then there's the agenda,
I think you'll lose people.
Take a picture of it.
To go to it.
the link.
I
on
mean, it's been
things.
done that way for so long
Mhm.
that it seems like it's fine to keep it. I mean, you could add a sentence like, it's also available at this. link,"
Yeah.
Like, just to have both, it's kind of redundant, but because
Yeah.
you also do attach the minutes, so that is some sort of attachment
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah, so, okay. I just wonder how people
Yeah.
interface
That's a good
with,
question.
we're so flooded with different types of information anymore. Chris?
Yeah, so ODOT is spinning up a new advisory committee. It's the Universal Accessibility Advisory Committee. Applications are due the 20th, so if you know anybody, I'm glad to forward this over. But that's pretty exciting to have an accessibility committee. In the same vein, sort of save the date, but I'll probably be hosting a watch party of the Mobility Matters virtual conference here, February 27th. So more details to come, but I'll send an invite out to folks if you guys all want to come hang out and watch it and learn about some mobility stuff. Safe Routes to School grants, those are going in front of the OTC in 1 week. And hopefully we'll have some good projects here, provided OTC doesn't do anything crazy and change the recommendations. But we have a couple projects in Redmond, ODOT does. So one's a multi-use path connecting Desert Village, something, just south of town on 97 to town. And then some new crossings on OR 126 Glacier and Highland. So that'll be exciting. And then the city of Bend and the city of Redmond should have projects as well.
I had a question for you on.
Yes.
Routes to schools, any of that, is it all tied to new construction or is there any maintenance that's associated with?
It's all capital as always. If you let it fall far enough apart, it becomes a new construction. And then we can fund it.
The business park in Sun River has let it get to that point to be new construction then.
Okay, so yeah, we can explore it. They'll probably reopen for grants in 2 years.
Okay, perfect.
The ways again. We're just the very end of this cycle. And then same thing, we just ended our innovative mobility program grant cycle. Those should start February. We're doing scoring now, so there's a couple exciting ones locally. Don't know if they've gotten scored yet. And then Oregon Community Paths closes next week. And there are a lot of good projects in the region. I think we have something close to 20 million in requests for projects, multi-use paths, other connections in the area. Again, this will just be the applications. We haven't done award yet, but it's exciting to have that many people putting in because those will ultimately turn into projects.
How many,
You've got $20 million worth of requests. How much money do you have to give out?
There are, well, I think it's 61 or 63 million in the
Oh,
pot.
okay, so you got
Quite a
way
few
more than.
That's
Okay.
statewide.
Yeah, that's statewide. And, but we had quite a few of those projects were above the, the pre-application cut line, which is a good sign. Almost all of them were in Region 4.
Okay.
So exciting stuff there.
yeah, 20 million in this region,
Just requests.
just for requests, yeah, okay,
Statewide pot.
yeah, okay.
Also, there's construction going on. I'm gonna go check out the biggest waste of taxpayer dollars ever right here on Division afterwards.
On what?
Giving me a bad time about the new sidewalk on Division Street.
I'll leave that out.
Biggest waste?
You think?
Wow.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, yeah, it's 125 feet of sidewalk in the middle of nowhere.
Remember?
Yeah.
This is the truth according to Dave.
I go, I know, trust me, you drive by and you go, what?
Well, keep us apprised on that because the community path thing, that's
Yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
And it would be exciting if, I mean, sad, but exciting if, you know, the requests go well north of 63 million, because that's obviously a good data point of like, you know, communities are dying to do
They
these.
want these
things.
things.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a positive thing, and, hopefully the state and the, you know, regionally, we can leverage off of that, the quiet majority.
Yeah, no, that's
These
pretty much every
projects.
one of our grant programs, safe routes, all of them are all way over subscribed. Typically between 3 to 10 times more requests are coming in. So we'll see what happens with the legislature
Yeah.
this year.
Okay, well, maybe that's something COACT we can put some voice to, or, you know, remind people that there is a huge appetite for these
You
projects.
bring a ball peen hammer and I'll bring.
Bring a loudspeaker and. Chris from Bend.
Just a few things. We are having challenges with our new Greenwood bicycle. Setup. There's people parking within the bike areas, so we just installed some new no parking signs from right there on the north side of Greenwood, so hopefully those people stop parking through those sections. We've also got a contractor that decided to put out all his road closures for a big project, and he used that nice, beautiful bike lane, and so the city's.
The county hall by this.
Yeah, so the city's looking at what options we have to do like outreach with, like the delivery companies and some of the smaller businesses, so. So we're kind of struggling with that right now, but we did get some no parkings up, so hopefully that'll help.
Do you think people park there accidentally or maliciously?
I think it's a matter of convenience because there's a dry cleaners there, there's a pizza place, and the bike lane is just so wide right there that if you're not paying attention, it really sneaks up on you. And the next thing you know, your kids are in the back yelling at you and you're
Yeah.
out to go have pizza and you don't realize that it's a bike lane. So,
Just a minute.
yeah, well, just to be.
Yeah,
So, so we've been working on that. It is budget season for us, so we've been working on that quite a bit, to go to city council. We did get the approval from the city manager to increase our hot tape crew to 3 full-time employees, so that's pretty exciting, so. That's all the crosswalks and all the bike lanes and all the striping and stuff that goes into that, so we'll have a dedicated crew for that, which is great. And then we're working with our finance department right now to try to somehow get something within our system set up to where we can start doing work for other cities, making signs.
Oh, yeah.
Through our sign department. So yeah, we've really kind of increased the size of the sign department. So we're looking at possibly trying to pass that on to other cities and agencies, and the school district is really looking into it. And I know that we do a lot of work for the fire department, stuff like that. So we're trying to get that to where we can do it for all of Central Oregon as far as government. So
Let me know how that works.
yeah, so because right now we're sitting at like 1/4 the price of Carlson, 1/5 the price of Carlson. So, but yeah, we're moving to a new facility next year at Juniper Ridge. So we'll have a complete new sign shop set up. We're getting a lot bigger equipment now, so we can turn stuff a lot faster. Sometimes we can make it the same day. So if there's like an emergency or there's emergency road closure or something, we can make it all in-house. So yeah, we've been working on that, and like I said, just trying to get through budget season. So yeah.
Chris, I heard about a project that maybe your group is working on at 12th and Milwaukee to daylight the Greenway intersection there. Is that something that you know about?
12th in Milwaukee, no.
Okay.
I know that we have we have 2 people right now dedicated to connecting some of those broken areas that aren't all the way through, so it might be part of their program. We're also at 60% for the 9th Street bike improvement, the Franklin improvements, and I think that's it right now, so.
This sounded like an interesting project because it's a low cost design that can be replicated around the city, and other cities might be interested in it, to daylight intersections so that visibility for bikes and pedestrians at intersections.
Oh, okay.
improve.
I know that they just finished up the final approval to do a standard roundabout design. As far as, because if you drive around Bend, about every third one's different.
Yep.
So Kittleson's been working with the engineers to standardize it, and then we can get the one-offs if there's like grade differences or we run into like geo issues or anything like that, but they have gotten to the point where they've actually kind of standardized it so far, so. But that, I'm hoping that'll be adopted by the end of summer.
Chris, as everybody here knows, my peeve is roundabouts. As soon as you get a chance to look at what they're proposing, is there a chance you can bring it to a BPAC meeting?
Which one? Oh, the one I just talked about?
With
Oh, yeah.
pedestrian and bike, because
Yeah.
you're right, they're all different.
Yep.
So far, they haven't built one right yet, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah, they took a lot of information from like maintenance and stuff. We were having issues with irrigation getting crushed, landscape getting pulled out into the lanes. Stuff, a lot of stuff like that. So snow plowing. So a lot of that stuff got pulled into that. So.
Yeah, it'd be great to see it before they finalize it, because like I said, they haven't built one right yet, so. It's fine for vehicles.
Yes,
It's totally unsafe, especially for bike riders.
yeah.
Pedestrians can get through it, but it's,
I know they changed a few of the radiuses and stuff like that.
they haven't figured out concentric circles yet.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as I get it, I can bring it for sure.
Okay, that'd be great, thanks.
Maybe one more thing I should add is just moved into the new Public Works building in Sun River that just got built. So moved in about 2 weeks ago. So if you guys are ever in Sun River,
Cool.
come check out our new 13,500 square foot facility that we just finished up. We're fairly proud of it.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
Brian, is he still there? Nope, but we have
You went to sleep.
somebody named Clayton. Okay, I was gonna ask Brian if he had any input, but. Okay. I think that is it.
Jennifer,
Oh, Redmond. Nope, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bob.
it's okay.
I was just trying to look at the calendar, or look at the clock, making sure we get out of here, but yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Got our.
Keep it short. We met earlier this week in Redmond. We have 3 new members on the Redmond BPAC, which is exciting. We're back up to 9 members now. We are keeping at least 1 open spot for Matt in case he decides.
Experiment.
We are supporting the city in an OCP grant application, so we're one of those. This would be to pave the path to Oasis Village, east of town on 126. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. As part of our 2025 work plan, we're toying with the idea, and I certainly hope it happens, to update our Redmond bicycle master plan, which is woefully ancient. I'd be embarrassed to tell you how old it actually is. So keep you posted on that. I'm hoping that we move forward with that. And then also either I'm not exactly sure if it's this month or next month, but in the water bills, people will get a little flyer on giving us input on our new bike map, which is on the city website now. So
Oh, it's up?
it's up, yes.
Cool.
Redmond also has some good projects going.
Oh, you guys do. Well, that's, that's because Matt, you know, the longer Matt's gone, that made.
Oh,
No, it's great. It's a great BPAC and great staff up in City of Redmond. I
Absolutely.
think the past staff member who retired because the bike plan is so ancient, he did so much work to implement and keep that going. You know, I think there is a need for an overhaul, but he was just doing the work, I think. So yeah, they've done a lot of good stuff.
All right, thank you. Okay, anybody else?
All right, thank you, everybody, and we will see you back here February, Bend. That's what my calendar says. Consult Bend,
Redmond in March.
first Thursday. And yeah, have a great month.
Right, thanks.
You.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Thanks.
Okay.
We are ready to part.
Yeah, how about you?